Hey, my name is Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I think by all accounts we can agree that this is entirely too much Dice Throne. This is an unboxing and rambling of Dice Throne and all the Dice Throne stuff, although coffee shot as usual, but let's go ahead and dive into this. This is a lot. This is a lot of Dice Throne. I think I'm going to start with Marvel because I think that's the most recent and the newest, and so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. But then from there, we'll go into all the Dice Throne, making sure to unbox all the stuff, getting all the things out. This is entirely too much. It's also made worse by the fact that while I like Dice Throne, I would say that I don't think Dice Throne is the best game ever. I think it is very good. I think it's very fun. I do not think you need this much Dice Throne or remotely close to it. I like it, don't get me wrong. I think this is a lot, and it needs to justify a lot. But let's go ahead and dive into that because I do have an explanation. And if you're like, the explanation is that, Alex, you like going all in and everything, well, you're not wrong, but that's also not the real reason at the moment. The real reason at the moment is that my wife likes Dice Throne a lot. Rena likes Dice Throne a lot, and there's no degree of Dice Throne which we won't get. We actually just backed Santa vs. Krampus as well, because Rena took one look and said, well, I'd like more Dice Throne, please. It's not like we play all the Dice Throne we have, but she's allowed to want it. I certainly want my games, and I get my games, so if she wants something, she will certainly get it. But let's go and throw that out. And this, by the way, in case you're new here, is an unboxing and rambling, which means we cover Dice Throne, and then we cover conversations like coffee and what games and things and stuff, all the various things. Let's go ahead and dive into this. This is Marvel Dice Throne over here. Yes, I'm showing you the back of the box because we have the various characters over here all lined up very nicely. We'll go ahead and dive into it in a second. Let's go ahead and flip this around and see what we got as far as in this box. Now, this likely will be, this is nice. This is all very nice. Little snack packets we'll eat later. But this is Dice Throne over here. All the glorious Dice Throne with their little nice dividers over here, which I think is a new system that I don't think they have this in their prior iterations. But let's go ahead and dive into this. This unboxing will probably be quicker, especially considering the amount of content I have. It'll be quicker than other unboxings I've done, because as much as I will ramble around to a degree, it's also, I mean, there's no miniatures. There's just like trays of beautiful, over-the-top, amazing artwork that is just very stunning to look at, and who really wants to spend too much time on that? This is Thor, by the way. Thor. So this is the way one of these battle packs work over here. These battle packs give you a little box. This is something that Dice Throne started. I mean, Dice Throne's come a long way, by the way. Dice Throne used to be like a single little case with a bunch of characters, call it a day. And then Dice Throne did Season 2, which was over the top. Then they did Season 1 Rerolled, which was over the top. Then they did Dice Throne Adventures, which was over the top. I may be getting the order slightly wrong, but they did those things. Then they did Dice Throne Marvel. Then Santa vs. Krampus, which was like $500,000 alone in that campaign. Dice Throne has come a long way. And that's because of how accessible the game system is, with their beautiful art, absolutely beautiful art. This is one of the battle boards and whatnot. These all fit nicely into the board so you can see what's going on over here. They expand nicely so you can actually see the characters and their abilities. And Dice Throne, for those who don't know, is basically Yahtzee. That's what it is, it's Yahtzee. You can have your character. Let's go ahead and put this out over here. We have our character board with our various specific stats and different things you might want to know about. The rules clarifications, the difficulty level, the specific abilities and tokens. You have your health dial. That's not true. You have your combat point dial. You have your health dial. All these things nicely lined up. You have, in this case, oh my gosh, this is the Kickstarter version. I forgot about this, which means we have the nice little metal hammer. Whoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Well, that's fun. That's a little extra they gave you with the Kickstarter. Again, we'll deal with the snack packets later. And then we have our dice. Our gorgeous marbleized dice, which they've had since the first Dice Throne, or not the first Dice Throne, yes, since the first Dice Throne. They've had these marbleized dice. And Dice Throne's a game of Yahtzee. You roll your dice. Well, that's not bad, actually. You roll your dice. You try to figure out what you can get over here. Right now, I can go ahead. And I can go ahead and do this over here. I'm going to go for hammered. So I'm going to roll one more time. Yep, and there we go. You have a total of 3 rolls. 1, 2, and 3. Choosing how to re-roll any single time. I have 5 hammers. I'm going to deal 7 damage. And I'm going to throw Mjolnir over here, which is going to have specific abilities as far as how that works as far as throwing this little metal hammer at your opponents. Not actually throwing the metal hammer at your opponents. I don't think that would be taken very nicely. But then past that, you have your deck of cards. You have your deck of cards, which give you a variety of things you can do. This rules explanation you're going to get over here, not for every character, but you have your deck of cards, which gives you specific abilities as far as different options, both some degree of common cards between all decks, and then custom cards, including things that upgrade your deck. So for example, you can upgrade Lightning Rod to Lightning Rod 2, or perhaps even 3. Do we have 3s? We have some things with 3s. We have Hammered 3, so we can go ahead and upgrade Hammered to Hammered 2. Or Hammer 3. Hammer 3 would have dealt 8 damage, and you can throw or retrieve Mjolnir. On 3 of a kinds, gain Electrokinesis, which we do not have 3 of a kinds over here, but we came close to it. We have 1, 3, 2, 3, 2. That's not a 3 of a kind, but close enough. And that's what's going on in this upgrade deck. You have specific abilities, generic abilities, a whole bunch of cards to upgrade your character, and you're going to be spending your combat points that you earned throughout the course of the game on those. I need to get my hands on some sleeves. I would like some sleeves for this game, because what's making that noise? Is that my tablet? What made a little noise? Something made a little noise over there. It's the downside of trying to film with all the things. So I think my computer's making small noises. We'll deal with that part later. Either way, that is basically what's going on in Dice Throne. Then you wrap it all up, you put it away very nicely, fits in beautifully, all there, and that's what you have with Thor. That is the extent of what's going to happen for the next 37 characters we go through, for the most part. Because here's what we have. We have Thor over here. We have Loki. I'm pulling this out the wrong way. This is upside down. We have Loki over here. Loki's going to be over here, like so. We have a Scarlet Witch over here, who from all accounts is a very good person based on everything I've learned in the movies. Then we have Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man over here. I'm going to put that down over there. As you can see these slowly lining up, the light reflecting off them in a way that's super annoying, but it's okay, we'll deal with it. We have Captain Marvel over here. We have Black Panther over here. Just more and more Dice Throne, just slowly lining up. And then we have Doctor Strange and Black Widow. Just a whole lot of Marvel Dice Throne. I bet they won't come back for Season 2, he says sarcastically. I imagine they'll come back for Season 2. They confirmed that there's not any specific plans for anything of any kind. But at the end of the day, Marvel Dice Throne, and should I pull out the boards? Let's pull out the boards before we put them back. Let's go ahead and do that. We can justify a little bit of time spent on this, because the full character artwork is something else to see, and I think it's not bad. Before we do, let's go ahead and show you what we have in the middle over here, which is we have the rulebook and a whole bunch of tokens in the middle. That's Loki slowly opening up. Thor we could put back, because we already did Thor, so we can put Thor away. Then we have our token packs over here. If I can open this up over here. Where is the... There we go. Nope. This is not opening. Give me a second here. This should have a line where I can open this, but I can't tell where the line is, which makes it hard to open. Fortunately, I have a handy-dandy knife over here, which makes everything significantly easier to open, just by the very nature of it existing. Although, significantly easier still means you need to be careful of components, which means I still need to be a little bit careful as I slowly rip into everything. But then when we're done, we have our token trays. So here we go. So here we have our rules, our rule book over here, which is a very easy to go through rule book. I mean, I covered most of it. You basically roll 3 dice, you use some stuff. That's not most of it, the truth is. There's more stuff than that, but it's very easy to go through rule book. And then we have our specific tokens, which we'll have to punch, as well as standees for if you're playing role-player adventures, which we'll be going through soon enough. They do not have minis for role-play adventures, at least not yet. I bet you they'll have them at some point, though. And then you have the various tokens which will go into the various trays. And, of course, we have Mjolnir for those who don't have the Metal Mjolnir, which the Metal Mjolnir is obviously cooler, but you can't always get what you want. And so that we go put those away, and then we also, to further add to things, we also have somewhere our little promo pack that came with the Kickstarter as well. This is the promo card set that gives you some cards that are fun to go through, as well as some foil cards over here. Let's see where we probably shouldn't throw that away because I don't know where I'm putting this right now. But you can see over here, this is some solid artwork over here. This is nice. I like this. These are mythic abilities. Ooh, I like this. I don't know what these are, but these are very shiny and very pretty over here. I don't know if you can see the shininess. Ooh, there's the shininess. That looks nice. Yeah, there we go. Okay, great. We got Loki, got Scarlet Witch, got the actual promo cards, 8 randomizer cards, and 8 hero promo cards. Add this card to your hero's deck for a little extra fun. 1 card per hero. Yeah, this sounds fun. I don't know what's going on here, but we got more and more cards over here. We got our randomizers. What are the randomizers for? Oh, the randomizer for that, and then we have our promo cards. They go into their respective decks. We're going to go ahead and toss these into Doctor Strange for right now, just for the sake of having them somewhere. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pull out Doctor Strange and see his full artwork set over here. This is Doctor Strange. We have his full art on the back without a head, because that's how it works. We have him on the front over here, and all that stuff. Just, you know, this is the art from, what's it called? Oh my gosh, Manny Tremblay. Manny Tremblay's art, who also did, I believe, Wonderland's War, who has done some fantastic games, continues to do fantastic games. Doctor Strange goes back in the box over here. I realize you're not looking at that over there. I'm going to have Loki over here. Loki's art, again, this is just the art, character art. This is all this is. This is just art from the various things over here. It just looks solid. Loki, from what I've heard, is a little more complicated to play, but in a very rewarding way. He has different mirages that you can go for in terms of making it harder to hit him. You have to know whether you're hitting Loki or not. We have Scarlet Witch over here. Scarlet Witch is one of my less favorite art styles from these. I mean, it still is beautiful. I like seeing Marvel. And by the way, that's a cool thing in general. The fact that Dice Throne was able to get Marvel to sign off on having their art done by Manny Tremblay. I mean, that's got to be so cool. It's gotta be incredible. Like, I think it's cool that I get to even cover like a Marvel game. The fact that they had the Dice Throne Kickstarter, and I get to like cover a Marvel game or Marvel Zombies, whatever it is, before it's out. As a huge Marvel fan, I think that's cool for me. I can't even imagine being Manny Tremblay, being able to literally draw your own Marvel characters. Like in your style too. I think it's incredibly cool. But anyways, we have Miles Morales over here. If I can open this up without knocking things over. Miles Morales. Then we have more coming slowly as I slowly just go through each of these. I probably will not do this for all the characters because that's the thing with Dice Throne. I could spend an inordinate amount of time. I could spend hours unboxing this, like legit hours unboxing it and just going through absolutely everything. But it'd be a lot, and you're just getting full artwork of all the pages, which is not bad. It's not bad to see these. You can pause, you can see the abilities if you care, if you want to. But past that, which I'm going to go through these slowly, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have been a little more careful as I went through the first one so you could actually pause and see the abilities. I wasn't that careful, and so you may or may not actually be able to see everything. But we'll do these for the rest of these at least. But yeah, I mean, these are just like the various characters with their specific abilities. The big thing with Dice Throne, the reason I don't think you need this much Dice Throne, the reason I think you should not get this much Dice Throne, and if you do, I get it, because I did too, but the reason I think you should not get this much Dice Throne is because Dice Throne is an excellent system, but the variability between the characters is not so large. They have a lot of overlap on some of the basics. Like that first ability is almost always some form of like, look at this over here, we see Baton Strike, 5, 6, or 7 damage. Remember where we saw 5, 6, or 7 damage? With Thor, although Thor also threw Mjolnir. So there are small differences, but a lot of the general abilities have a degree of overlap. There's only so many different ways you can deal damage and layer on status tokens and have defense. There's only so many combinations they can have, and so I am curious to see what they do with Marvel Dice Throne. I imagine they'll come back for more, but I do think there is a limit or a cap to how much Dice Throne any one person needs. The real tricky part is whether Dice Throne is going to expand, and I don't see why they wouldn't. It makes sense to. Like, I'm curious where else they expand as far as what other IPs, because you can slap a whole bunch of IPs onto Dice Throne and have a good time with it. From there, let's go into Season 1. Season 1, Rerolled. Ugh. Season 1, Rerolled. Let's go and see what we got over here. Let's take a look and see what we have. So, off the bat, let's go and open this over here. Give me a second. Let's just take this off, just the plastic and all that stuff off over here, and get this taken a look at. But yeah, this is Season 1 for Season 1 Rerolled. Beautiful box. Season 1 was the original, well, Season 1, as you might imagine, because it's called Season 1. This is back when Dice Throne was owned by somebody else, before Roxley acquired it, or bought it, or did something with it. I had the original Season 1 way back in the day. Look at this box. Look at this. It looks like a beautiful book. Of course, the whole page is on the side of as well. Looks like a beautiful book. And more characters over here in Season 1. Now, they added 2 characters, if I recall correctly, to Season 1 when they completely re-rolled this. It looks like they did do those side things. I wonder if it's in here as well. I do wonder that now. Let's push you off to the side so we can actually see everything. And let's just go through what we have for Season 1. These will be in and out. We have the Treant and the Ninja. Those are the new characters. So the original Dice Throne, if I recall correctly, had 4 characters, and the Kickstarter version had 6. And then when they did the big box, they made it 8, and they completely redid them with marbleized dice and everything. So we have the Barbarian offhand. And again, I'm not going to go through these overhand. These are just the various characters. We have the Barbarian. We have the Moon Elf over here. The Moon Elf. We have the Pyromancer. Oh, these are so nice. I mean, they got so nice. The art here is incredible. The characters all have their own flavor to them. The Shadow Thief in particular is a lot of fun. I've played with the Shadow Thief before, and he or she, I don't remember if it's a he or she. We have the Monk, who's very healing and very defensive. This is where I'm curious to dive into Dice Throne Adventures, because I think Dice Throne Adventures has a lot of possibilities as far as being able to utilize these characters in a familiar system, but one that could be a lot of fun to go through. We have the Ninja and the Treant, who I don't know anything about at all. You will see some of these characters shortly, though, because I will be showing you the miniatures for these in Dice Throne Adventures. You see, Dice Throne, for all the fact that it's a Yahtzee fest of rolling dice and using your abilities against each other, they have Dice Throne Adventures, which has gotten mixed reviews. It's gotten some positive reviews, some negative reviews. Overall, mixed, but that's the nature of positive and negative. It's gotten mixed reviews. But Dice Throne Adventures is using the Dice Throne system to give you a bit of a dungeon crawl, alternating between dungeon crawls and between boss battles. And I've read the rules for it like 3 times. I've set it up twice. I haven't actually tabled it once, though. And so that should hopefully happen. Hopefully. Now let's do Dice Throne Season 2. Tossing this coaster off to the side. Dice Throne Season 2. Give me 1 second over here. Push this down over here and just get this going. Probably should have just kept this on the front camera while we did this. anyways, let's go ahead and take this off. This is Dice Throne Season 2, which is basically again, the order here is confusing. We had Dice Throne, we had Season 2, we went back to Season 1 Rerolled, so the Treant and the Ninja came after Season 2. Let's go ahead and show you this over here. And again, another box over here. I like the cover art of Season 1 more, Rerolled. Season 2 was when they started introducing all the playmats and everything, and all these big boxes, which again, I'm curious if they added the slides. They did add the slides. You see, I had Dice Throne once upon a time. I had Dice Throne Season 2 once upon a time, and it's a game that I actually got rid of at a certain point because we weren't playing it enough. Then my wife found out I got rid of it, and we have it back now. So, this is Dice Throne over here. We have the Gunslinger versus the Samurai. You see, the way Dice Throne works as well is they pair you up in different battle packs. So you can see different battle packs if you want to buy them separately, and the Gunslinger versus the Samurai is one of the battle packs over here. Then we have the Huntress versus the Tactician as well. So Huntress versus Tactician, if I can get to those. And there we go over here. As far as the Huntress versus the Tactician over here, just, you know, these two characters over here. The Huntress has a little beast you can play with. The Tactician, I don't know if I've ever played with. I may have played against the Tactician, I don't know, but I don't believe I've played as the Tactician. I played as the Huntress. I've also played as the Artificer. I have not played against I played against the Cursed Pirate and as the Artificer. Again, I played a lot of Dice Throne, comparatively speaking, just not as much to justify all the stuff I have over here. The Artificer is one of my favorite characters, actually. There's a lot of depth and subtlety to the machines he's building as he plays, which I really appreciated. And then we have the Seraph and the Vampire, and I know I've played as the Seraph. I don't remember if I've played as or against the Vampire Lord. I don't remember. I played as a Seraph, I remember that. She has these, like, healing boons almost, these protective stuff she puts on her. But that's what we have over here. And so now, all told, we have 24 characters worth of Dice Throne. Between Marvel, between Season 1, between Season 2, we have 24 characters. And then we have Dice Throne Adventures, which does not give you more characters, but it does give you more ways to use those characters. And so let's go into Dice Throne Adventures, the dungeon crawl. There might be more to show you there. I don't know, actually. Let's go ahead and take a look and see. We'll find out together. So first of all, we have Season 1 and Season 2 miniatures, or technically Season 2 and Season 1 miniatures, which we'll go through these shortly as well, because there are actually miniatures to see over here. But then we have Dice Throne Adventures over here to go through over here, and let's see what we got as far as Dice Throne Adventures. Now, like I said already, this follows the format of Dice Throne. You have the same book side of the thing, different box, very, very big box as far as fitting into Calyx cubbies, but this is Dice Throne Adventures over here, and that's what's going on as far as the setup over here. You have this little dungeon crawl. We're going to be laying out tiles. You're going to have your characters either with standees or with miniatures, depending on how you whether you got those miniatures or not. Although the miniatures come painted and unpainted, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they only come painted. I don't remember. It could be they only come painted. But I do want to apply a wash to the miniatures because from looking at them, I think they'll strongly benefit from a wash. But this over here is Dice Throne Adventures. The rulebook for this is not that bad. I've gone through this a few times. Overall, it's a few pages. If you know Dice Throne for sure, it's particularly easy to dive into. There's a few rules as far as managing the minions, how the enemies activate, whenever you run into an enemy. There's no typical movement. There's more access as you wander around. You have your campaign scoring sheet that will track all the things. And then you have your miniatures over here, which does look like they have painted and unpainted miniatures, just based on detailed unpainted and factory pre-painted PVC miniatures. So you have both options over here, giving you Season 1, Season 2, Rerolled, all these little things, dice trays, card sleeves, neoprene mats. I need to get some card sleeves for the system. And I even have some upgrades as well, which I'll show you at another point. I have some separate upgrades for Dice Throne that I can show you from Board Game Geek, upgrading the player bits. And then we have over here the player trays over here. We have player trays. We have more player trays. Lots and lots of player trays. All the cards and things are in here. So over here we got our common, our rare, our legendary. Let's see if we can pull this out so you can see this up here. We have our little boards over here showing you the various pools and stuff. We have our characters, the Mad King, the Gunslinger. These are all the various bosses you'll fight against because you do have bosses you fight against. You have the Mad King over here. So again, same quality artwork, just this time applied to a boss that you'll fight against. We have the Fallen Gunslinger from Season 2, but this time he's fallen. We have the Fallen Monk. We have the Fallen Barbarian. So we have multiple options as far as the various enemies you're fighting as or against, not really as. Although they each have their own AI system as far as how they track them. We're going to go put this back over here. I'm going to just got this all stored nicely and punch all those tokens and all that stuff. A whole lot of things to do. We'll take care of it at some point. We have our token tray, which I believe I showed you, but you're going to slot all the tokens into this tray, so you have everything nicely stored and separated over there. And then we have our tray of cards, which just has a ton of cards over here. Everything over here is going to store nicely. You're going to have all these over here, all the boss cards over here, all the everything. These are giving you all the dungeon tiles you have. So you have all these dungeon tiles. They'll be laid out, stored over there. You have the specific loot systems as far as how everything unlocks. And then you have a bunch of dice as well. We can go into the dice too. because these are always fun to go through. These are going to be your dice thrown dice, which are, dice thrown, but they are marbleized, which I generally appreciate. These are going to be the marbleized dice as far as the dice thrown bosses, the enemies, all of that thrown into the dice tray. All in all, a very decent system for tracking everything and keeping it all nicely organized for you, having it all available, accessible, all that stuff. This goes on top of here to make sure I don't lose track of things as I put this away. Let's put that down there. This goes into here. Then we have these on top of here, which will be sorted properly later, and that there, and that there, and that is basically Dice Throne Adventures. Like I said already, this is a shorter unboxing. There's only so much I can do unless I'm willing to actually show you all the cards, which feels like a whole lot more work and a lot less interesting than just going through generically what we have over here. But we do have the miniatures for last. I did say I'd save those for last, and so let's go ahead and go through these. Taking a look, let's move you off to the side a bit, just so you're not in my arm's length over there. Need some personal space. But I do hope to play through this soon. My wife in particular likes Dice Throne regular. Dice Throne Adventures I may end up going through solo or figuring something out there because I do want to play it, but it has not been tabled yet, and so I don't know when it actually will. So maybe we'll just go through it solo and figure that out. But this is your miniatures if I can actually open the box. I actually don't even know if these fit in anywhere outside of here. It could be that they only ever fit in here. Once you, this is far less interesting than I thought because this doesn't want to come off, but it will eventually. Let's just go through there. There we go. There we go. And here we have the miniatures. These are actually pretty nice. I'll show you them in a second. I mean, one's missing an arm, granted. Missing an arm? Yeah, straight up missing an arm. So one's missing an arm, but past the missing arm and weapon, past the entirely missing everything over here, it does look pretty good. Huh. I'm pretty sure it's missing. Let's go and see if it's falling underneath. Nope, nope, straight up missing. Straight up missing. So not perhaps the best unboxing in that sense, but we'll show you everything. Let's show you the missing character first. Here we go. Over here, we got her over here with her missing arm. That is definitely missing arm, unless she comes armless, because that's definitely missing arm. But we have the barbarian over here. The barbarian. You can see him over here. Again, it looks like they did apply a wash already, so I may not bother applying a wash, although I think a stronger wash could do a lot more, but it also depends on the character. Like, for instance, this one over here, this one I think is totally solid as far as the characters go. I think this one looks very, very nice, as well as the treant over here. The treant, I think, looks delightful. Look at that treant. Look at the painted over here. It looks like they applied a nice wash. It fell in over there. I like the treant a lot as far as this guy goes over here. Look at the little adorable. The eyes in particular are very nice. We have the ninja as well over here. I believe this is a ninja at least because there's two characters that are similar-ish. We have the ninja. We have the night elf, the moon elf, the night elf, something like that. And then we have these two as well before we go into the next box. So yeah, we're missing an arm in one of the characters. It doesn't overly bother me, but we'll see what we can do with that. We have the monk. We have the fire, the enchantress, or whatever her name is. I don't actually know the characters' names. It's all good. We'll figure it out. And then we have the season 2, or season 2. Yeah, season 2, which I believe the huntress is over here. I may have incorrectly called that one. But let's go through over here what we have and see what we got. Let's go through another awkward unboxing as I try to open this and see what we have. Okay. And we have season 2 miniatures again. And it's not like I broke the arm because there was no arm in there. This is really awkward. Just bear with me. I'll be right with you. There we go. We got it. There we go. And so what do we have? These again, some solid ones. I really like this one, the Artificer, who I already said is one of my favorite characters. Really like the Artificer. Look at him. Look at him. They got solid texture, solid colors. They got blue, orange, and if you count the here, it's white, which are my channel colors, so I can't not like that. We have the Gunslinger over here. The Gunslinger. We also have the Samurai over there with his slightly bent sword, but that's okay. It still looks pretty cool. Looks like it could be an intentionally bent sword if you really want to think about it. We have the Seraph over here with her curved blades. Those ones I think actually are intended. The Seraph. And then we have over here the Huntress. The Huntress over here. Followed by the Vampire Lord, which looks whatever she's called. I don't remember her character name. And then we have the Tactician as well. And finally we have the Cursed Pirate. And these are the characters you have. These are the various characters you have. I know that with Santa versus Krampus, which they had on the campaign, I know they're offering characters there, which I find interesting because they have Santa versus Krampus. They don't have Dice Throne miniatures. I wonder if that was a licensing issue. I wonder, because I don't know how much you know about Marvel, but Marvel has all these rules as far as how things get divided between board games, between miniatures, between card games, and different companies have the rights to different games. And so I am curious no, but it doesn't make sense because the existence of miniatures alone, I don't know. who has the rights to different things? Because I think Fantasy Flight has the right to miniatures games, if I'm not mistaken. But Marvel United was a board game, so they have miniatures there. I don't know the reason. I'm curious to see what happens, whether we ever get Dice Throne miniatures or not. But that's what's going on. That's what we have over here for all the Dice Throne stuff. Way too much Dice Throne, 24 characters, a whole ton of matchups. I'm sure someone could do the math on how many different possible matchups there are between 24 unique things where you can't have the same one twice, unless of course you buy 2 copies, in which case you could have the same one twice, but that's not what we're talking about over here. There's a lot of matchups, a lot of pairings. And then of course Dice Throne Adventures to actually, hopefully, eventually dive into as well. In any case, that's basically it. That is what we have as far as Dice Throne. Season 1, Season 2, Marvel, Adventures, and Miniatures, all wrapped up into a giant unboxing of everything. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you have a good one.